Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with the next update for my project Level Up. So this is a project that I created a couple of years back where you focus on your palettes kind of in a mix between Pan Those Eyeshadows, No Pan Left Behind, and kind of Panda palettes somewhat. But basically this project entails of different levels where you have level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on. So for level 1, you have to use every single shade one time and hit one pan. For level 2, use every shade twice and hit 2 pans, and so on. So for a majority of people, they are following the rule that after level 5, you can reset the project and go back to level 0, or so, level 1 rather. And then, you know, kind of continue doing that for as long as you want. Some people reset it throughout the year, like at the end of the year, like I do. Some people keep it going indefinitely, but also some people are doing it the hardcore style where they continue working on their collection. They're going to try to get as far as they can this year with levels, so they're going to continue past level 5, which is so amazing, and I'm very in awe of those people. I'm most likely going to reset this as level 5, which I have done for the last couple of years too, but we'll see how I do when I get later on in the year. Currently I am on my level 3 palette, so I'm going to talk you through where I am with that palette today. But before I jump into the palette, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So, like I said, I am at my level 3, and the palette that I'm working on is the At First Sight palette with Raw Beauty Christie in collaboration with Colourpop. I rolled this palette in last month, and this is what the palette looked like at that point. It had a little bit of use, nothing too intense. It was a relatively new palette to me, but that is what it looked like at the introduction. I've obviously been working on this one for 1 month, and this is where this palette is today. So you can see the differences right there. Some differences are more obvious, some are not, but you can see the main overview right here. But let me also talk you through the shades. So as always, I will have the comparison pictures up here too, so you can easily see the difference. But I'm going to talk you through each shade in order. So first up in the palette, we have the shade Puffball, which is this kind of matte camely brown. And I have only used this one once in the past month, so I have 2 more uses to go on this shade. But I think this is going to be an easy one to kick out once I focus on it. Next to that, we have the shade Chanterelle, and this is one that I have used twice, so I have 1 more use to go, not quite at my 3 use mark again, but I have used it twice. Third in the palette, we have the shade Rainer, which is this kind of orangey, rusty, brown kind of shade. And this one I've also used once, so I'm not there with my usage either. That's going to be a recurring trend with this palette, but as you can see, most likely I have not been able to level up this month, which is fine by me. So some of the usage goals haven't been hit either, but I'm fine with that. So like I said, Rain had been used once. Then lastly, on the top row, we have the most exciting progress in this palette, and that is in the shade Old Growth right here. Because as you can see, I was able to hit pan on the shade. It was been the one that I've been focusing on the absolute most in the past month. And I'm happy to say that I was able to hit pan on this one. It is quite a powdery matte for Colourpop, so it was too difficult to hit pan on it. It was one of the reasons why I wanted to focus on this one, but also because I love this type of shade. So I reached for this one 12 times in order to hit pan on it. So that one is goes complete, because obviously I've also reached for it more than 3 times. So that is the first row. Moving on to the second row, we have the shade Evergreen, which is this beautiful kind of green brown kind of shifty shade. It's not the most impactful, but the type of shade is really beautiful, and I love wearing those. And this one is another one that I'm currently focusing on to hit pan. I do have quite a big dip going, as you might be able to see right there, and I've used this one 13 times so far. One of those times was on my nails, so I think 5 of the uses came from there, but the remaining 8 I have used on my eyes. Then we have the second shimmer in the palette, which is the shade West Coast, which is a beautiful golden shade. This is definitely more impactful than the other shimmer. And I have used this one 3 times, so I have hit my 3 uses on this one. I do already have quite a nice dip in this shade after 3 uses. So I might focus on this one too to hit pan, but we'll see how I go. But yeah, most likely this is going to be my 3rd pan in the palette. Then for the rest of the shades on this row, we have Homegrown and Amantia. And I have reached for both of those twice, so I have 1 more use to go on either of those, which is fine. Again, I'm not going to level up, so I don't think it's going to be hard reaching for these 2 1 more time in the next month. Then lastly, we have the bottom row, which is my most neglected row over the past month. I have used all of the shades, but I still have some usage left to go. So the first 2 shades, Fiddlehead and Emerald City, I have used twice, so I have 1 more use to go for those. And then unfortunately the last two shades right here, which is P and a W and Let It Rain, I've only reached for once, so 2 more uses there. So as you can see with this palette, I have some uses left to go. I haven't really hit my usage goal on any of the shades apart from the ones that I most likely will focus on. So the only ones that have really hit my 3 usage goal is the shade Old Grove, the shade Evergreen, and the shade West Coast, which is again going to be most likely my focus shades. So that is kind of where I am with this palette today. I have been struggling a little bit with kind of managing all my projects over the past month, which is why I decided not to push myself to try to level up. I guess I might have been able to if I just focus on this one like every single day when I wasn't doing my Big Fat Eyeshadow project. But with that project, I kind of have to find time to manage my product level up, my palette, all of that kind of stuff. So I kind of decided halfway through the month that I was most likely not going to be able to level up anyway. So I decided to slow down a little bit and take my time with this palette and focus on other things too. But I'm really excited to reach for this one for 1 more month. But by next update, I'm definitely going to try to level up. Especially if I only have those 2 shimmers to level up on, I think I should be able to do that. Of course, you know, I can't say that for sure, but I think realistically I should be able to level up by next month. So that's going to be a short and sweet update for today. For next month, like I said, my goal is just to go through this palette. I'm not going to roll in another palette for level 4. So I'm just going to continue working on the ones that I have. And just to recap what I have left to do, I always have to hit 2 more pans, which is most likely again going to be the 2 shimmers. Then for the rest of the shades, I have to use this one twice, this one once, this one twice. We have 1 use on these 2 right here, 1 use on this one, 1 use on this one, and then 2 uses each on these 2 here, which again should definitely be like doable. The usage goals I'm not too worried about. It's always that the hitting pan that's going to be the most difficult, but since I already have quite significant dips in these 2 shades already, I do think it's going to be doable to reach that goal. So again, that is going to be it for today. Let me know how you're doing with your project level up. As always, I will have the playlist that everyone else is doing this project linked down below, so you can have a look at that if you want to binge some of this content. And it has been going, like, it's the same playlist since the start of this project, so you can really go ahead and binge. It's not like a yearly playlist or anything. It's so much content in there. I also have my own playlist this year, so I'll also have that link down below. But I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.